I'm not your sister, so don't call me that. Are you sure you can resist? He's a complete dick. But what if your dad finds out about all this? Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to recapping the movie My Fault. The plot of the movie begins with a 17-year-old girl named Noah. She is packing her things to move to another city. The girl places a picture with her father, and it is obvious that they are both race car drivers. When she goes to the new city, Noah reads a book and is quiet in the car. Her mother, Emma. The mother tries to talk to her daughter, but the girl keeps reading. Emma informs her daughter that she has met and married a wealthy man, so they will be moving to his luxurious mansion. Though Emma explains that the teen has no choice but to relocate before turning 18, her daughter is distraught about leaving her hometown and friends behind. Upon arriving at the lavish estate, Emma, her new husband Will, and resentful daughter are greeted by the servants. Once inside the opulent home, she remains unimpressed by the extravagances, the pool, fancy car, and more. After Emma shows her the new bedroom, the girl starts unpacking. She takes pictures of herself in expensive clothes and sends them to her friend. As she steps out onto the terrace, she sees her half-brother Nick. When her friend calls, she tells her friend that despite her wealthy new family, she feels more at home in her old town. Looking for a snack, Noah opens the refrigerator. Suddenly, she's startled to see Nick, who is very handsome, because she hadn't ended the call with her friend. With the phone still connected, her friend overhears everything and learns Nick's name. Sitting down and reaching for her phone, she's frightened by the family's huge dog and starts to panic, but Nick warns her not to anger it. For the first time, the half-siblings feel a romantic connection. Back in her room, she realizes her friend is still listening. Noah tells her he finds Nick very attractive. When she comes down for dinner in a new dress, the whole family waits for her arrival. Obviously, she has unique tastes. Her bold choices also appealed to Nick. She texted Dan that she missed him and asked him to call back, but he said he was busy. Noah saw Nick catch up to them in his car and toss a cigarette out the window. She hadn't expected that because Nick seemed like a bad boy. When they arrived at the restaurant, they approached the table, but Noah noticed the waitress flirting with Nick at the table. Noah realized her parents didn't know Nick smoked and decided to keep it a secret. Her stepbrother was about to leave for work with his friend. Noah said she had to go too. Will asked his son to give his sister a ride home. On the way, they argued, and Nick dropped his sister off. Her phone was dead and she couldn't call a cab. Seeing a car, she tried to stop it. It drove past. The girl insulted him. The car stopped and backed up. Inside was a cute guy named Mario. It turned out he knew Nick and was headed to the same party. On the way, the girl said she and her half-brother Nick lived in his house. She says Nick dropped her off in the driveway and left. It turns out Nick is hosting a party for a dangerous ex-convict named Ronnie. Her new friend tells her that the parents are unaware of their son's activities. Seeing that Nick is a womanizer, she hits him for abandoning her. When her brother notices Noah's attractiveness, he tries to reassure her by pointing out the tattoo near her ear. He tells her to stay out of his business and not mention the parties at home. Jenna, Nick's friend, meets Noah and they go out partying. Nick's friend Lion showing off his car. Noah then looks at pictures of her boyfriend with her best friend and wants revenge by kissing someone else. Her new friend suggests finding and kissing the most attractive guy there. After approaching and kissing Jenna, Lion meets Noah. Nick is dating someone new. Ronnie knows Noah is the sister of his rival and wants to meet her, so he sends a friend to get her drunk. Nick notices that his sister is acting strangely and defends her. He informs her that she has been drugged and will take her home, but she objects. In the car, she starts behaving oddly. After they arrive home, Nick puts his sister to bed. She has disturbing memories surface from childhood when she was afraid of her father. In the morning, Nick and Noah discuss what transpired the previous night. Nick jokes that he simply put her to bed since she was acting funny. When they meet her parents, Nick and Noah hesitate to tell them what happened the day before. To help her out, Nick texts the parents that she and her friend were watching a movie. The parents also express gratitude to Nick for introducing Noah to their friends. She looks at her phone and sees that the text message expressing sympathy for Nick was sent the same night. She becomes angry and leaves because her mother ended the relationship with Dan. An unknown number rings on the phone on the beach. At that moment, Noah notices his brother and other friends who also came to the beach to surf. Nick asks his friends an interesting fact his sister mentioned the previous night. and Noah quickly starts falling for Nick, especially when he begins putting on his surfing suit. Jenna notices that Noah looks at her brother in a completely different way. Noah also notices other girls approach Nick to participate in the race, but Nick pretends he doesn't know what they're talking about. Noah is interested in the race because she is a race fan herself and a great driver. All the people cheer before the race and cheer on the racers. From the first race, Nick is invigorated and shows confidence and calmness. When he notices his sister Noah with Jenna, Nick gets distracted by her because he finds Noah very attractive. But when Nick catches up with his rival, Noah notices how fast Nick is gaining. Nick gets distracted again when he sees Mario playing with Jenna. Nick falls a little behind. However, as Nick gathers himself, he pulls ahead, outmaneuvers his rival, and finishes as the winner on the turn. Ronnie figures out a way to trick Nick after his victory. At the same time, when Noah receives a text from her best friend, she decides to get revenge on her ex-boyfriend and find a new boyfriend. While the other racers compete, Nick doesn't take his eyes off Noah while she has a few drinks and dances. Noah gets jealous after receiving a new text message and kisses the new man. Nick observes this situation unfolding. The brother approaches, chases the young man away, and offers Noah a kiss to make her boyfriend Dan jealous, but only if she agrees to go home. As he moves closer and gently kisses her, their passion grows. This is clearly more than just a photo. Noah gets into the car. After sending the picture, she breaks up with Dan over the phone. She decides to take the car for a ride, so she gets behind the wheel and turns the key. At that moment, Ronnie arrives at the starting line and sees a girl in the driver's seat about to start the race. She also tries to back out. Nick was in a car with his girlfriend at the same time. He hears the siren but doesn't make it to the car in time as he rushes to the start. Ronnie says that if no one goes, his team automatically wins. So the girl decides to start the race. Nick's friends are upset that he is not in the car and do not know who the driver is. Noah is driving when the race begins. The two drive neck and neck at first, but at the first corner she pulls ahead briefly before falling behind again. She quickly catches up and passes him on the next turn, but on the most difficult curve of the track, she surges forward and overtakes him completely. Frustrated, Ronnie starts ramming Noah's car, leaving her confused about what is happening. Noah crosses the finish line first, but it turns out Noah broke the rules, so Nick has to pay for the damaged car and return it. Nick takes his sister out, but when Ronnie starts hurting her, Nick gets into a fight. A brawl erupts between the two rival gangs. Gina leaves with Noah, going back with Nick. The next morning she meets up with a friend and her mom, and they prepare to celebrate the upcoming holiday. But then Noah realizes Nick has been gone for 4 days. Nick has been sleeping on the beach while Emma and Will get ready for the event. Emma is distraught, even though her husband tries to calm her. Their daughter notices all of this and realizes her parents truly love each other. Nick plays with his little sister Maggie on the beach, but says he needs to leave early. That evening the family returns home, and later Nick comes back to find Noah lying on the couch. He sits with her because he's attracted to her. They continue silently, unable to stop until their mom arrives. The next morning, Nick sees Noah washing her car. She won't let her brother join her, but doesn't stop Nick from watching as she pours water on herself, making her clothes transparent. Noah's mom comes over and sees her with Dan, Noah's ex-boyfriend. Though she knows Dan is cheating with her friend, he tries to kiss Noah, with Nick observing all of this. A while later, Noah comes to Nick and tells him they have a problem. Her ex-boyfriend Dan shows up and she pushes Nick into the pool so he won't recognize Nick. Dan tries to justify his actions by saying he still loves Noah, but when Dan gets splashed with water, Noah walks away. Walking over to his brother, Nick pulls Noah into the pool. Noah swims away from Nick, but he swims after her. When Nick catches up to Noah, he studies her attractive figure, and Noah clearly likes the attention, until Emma starts looking for Nick. Noah freaks out when she sees the note and the flowers. Noah thinks Dan is sending them, but he claims he is not. Ronnie finds Nick on the way back from the restaurant in a red sports car. When Nick gets home, he sees Dan walk into Noah's room. Nick goes up to the balcony where Noah is lying. Noah wakes up and hits Dan when he touches her. Noah notices Nick's wound. Noah takes her clothes to wash Nick's wounds. Noah and her brother agree to not walk alone. Noah leisurely examines her brother and kisses him. They continue studying each other. They leave when Dan interrupts them. Nick's father notices his abrasions that morning. The butler plays along with Nick, claiming he cleaned the leaves by the pool. The girl receives another threatening letter but doesn't explain the situation. In the car, the friends discuss how they entered the race. Anna, Nick's friend, tells everyone who exactly taught Noah to drive like that. Upon arriving at the race, Noah gave her brother the same model car that she lost. Nick says he is falling more and more in love, and they are getting to know each other and growing closer. As their friends arrive, they stop. They have a new car to race. It turns out they have arrived at Fight Club. The sister tries keeping Nick from fighting, but he declares he enjoys doing it. Nick dangerously dodges the punches. For the fight's duration, Noah steps away. Nick misses too many punches, but still wins and is rewarded. After the fight, Nick looks for his sister Noah. Noticing Mario kissing her, Nick pushes his friend away. Noah admits to Nick that he's afraid of him and they should cut ties. They leave the party. In the morning, Noah works at a cafe while Nick runs on the beach. While working, Noah remembers how much fun she and Nick had together growing up. She puts stickers on her car with their butler. Noah's hands tremble when she receives another threatening letter at work. Meanwhile, their father tells Nick about Noah's father, that he might hurt Noah again since he used to beat Noah a lot as a child. He was released from prison 2 weeks ago. The parents ask Nick to support his sister and be there for her. Noah still doesn't know that her father is out of jail, and they ask Nick not to tell his sister. At a party, Noah's father watches her walk around with a friend leaving the party and Noah becomes ill. Nick doesn't notice they are being watched. When she arrived back to get her jacket, Anna pushes Noah into the closet. Nick pulls her out afterward. Nick puts Noah to bed when they get home. Noah was afraid, so she asked her brother to stay with her. He calmed her down, and she fell asleep. The next morning, they woke up in the same bed. Their father walked into the room. Will reported that Maggie was in the hospital and called his brother. His sister seemed healthy. The doctor told that everything was fine and she just needed some rest. Nick and Noah started to talk, and Nick confesses his love to her. They headed to the beach to get to know each other better. Nick goes down her and traced her scar and did whatever she wanted. In the morning, they talked about themselves and were happy to be together again. Nick suggested running away together. When they stopped at a gas station, Nick left his sister in the car and promised to return quickly. While Nick paid inside, Ronnie quickly got into the car and kidnapped the girl. After checking the surveillance cameras, Nick discovered that Ronnie had committed his sister's kidnapping. The girl wakes up handcuffed. As she reaches for water, someone moves the glass to her. It seems to be her father, Jonas, whom she is terribly afraid of. He confesses to sending the threatening letters, seeking vengeance for past wrongs. Jonas calls Emma and demands $1 million in ransom. Explaining the drop location, Jonas punches Ronnie, pondering his next move. A man secretly watches through hidden cameras as everyone gathers at the meeting place. The detective asks Nick if he really lost the car. Nick confirms, saying he keeps paying insurance. They learn they can track the car by GPS. Realizing he's found out, Jonas prepares to flee. His daughter drives the red car out of the garage, trying to escape. Nick catches up and Jonas shoots his ex-wife. Will shields his wife with a suitcase. Jonas explains he kidnapped his daughter because he never became a champion racer and went to prison instead, leaving him bitter and vengeful. Bent on revenge against everyone he sees. She reaches the edge and pivots. Nick blocks her path. Sensing his demise, Noah has an epiphany. They press on until intercepted. The detective leans in and disarms the bandit, ending the pursuit. Ronnie is apprehended by the police. After the chase, Emma discovers a corpse, her ex-husband. Noah and Nick are unharmed. That night at home, Nick vows to keep protecting his sister. He admits his love for her. Noah is thrilled. It's reciprocated.
I thought I was doing okay. But how did I end up this way? Think I'm getting used to this.